Hello dear students and researchers, and welcome to Classic Academy YouTube channel. In this video, I will thoroughly guide you about writing a dissertation or thesis. The possible outline for chapters for undergraduate and master thesis is in front of you. I will explain all these chapters including their sections one by one. I would suggest you to keep calm and show some patience to watch full video to get maximum benefit from this comprehensive guide. Before starting this video, I would also suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. If you want to order a PDF copy of my book titled A Comprehensive Dissertation Guide, please contact me on my email listed in front of you. The purpose of introduction chapter is to justify the topic of the dissertation or research project. To make this successful, the student should do the following. Introduce the topic and its context, background. Locate the topic within current academic literature. Draw from non-academic literature sources, for example, specific company literature, government reports, newspapers, etc., to demonstrate the wider relevance of the topic. Show the contemporary nature of the study. Write research questions to be studied as a logical consequence of the argument they have constructed. Summarize the chapter and introduce the next chapter. This introduction chapter is always critical as it provides whole idea of the research including the direction, reasons, and ideas. Before going ahead, I would suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. Here is the possible outline of this chapter. In the introduction section of the chapter 1, you will introduce the whole idea of the chapter to refine the reason for this study to be conducted. In many occasions, it was found that the researcher will utilize this section by presenting the main issue of the study in general in order to attract the attention of the readers to research focus. The background section should inform the reader about the problem or the situation and the context you are interested in. In this section, you will establish the importance of the topic. Include history or background of the topic. Write in chronological order. Provide proper referencing. If your research on any case study organization or country, then you can describe its history or background. The problem statement section should be very strong as your research is based on addressing the key research problems. Elaborate this section with strong arguments and solid reasoning. In this section, you will include why this specific topic is worth researching, why this is a good way to research it, describe the key research problem and its impact, why it is important to address this issue at this time, describe other problems triggered due to this problem. Thus the research rationale is clear. Highlight literature or knowledge gap in the field of study. Why the gap exists. Develop a need to address literature gap with strong arguments and provide valid and authentic references. In this section, you need to list down objectives based on the issues that you identified and verified in the problem background. In certain situations, you may have primary and secondary research objectives. So, in this section, you will clearly state aim based on the title or subject of the research. Your aim must be your key interest area. Your research title must be focused, narrow, and not too general. You need to set clear research objectives. Finally, your objectives must comply with aim of the study. In this section, you need to list down the variables of the study which normally be presented in a question form. Usually the research questions should align with the research objectives where most of the time are considered as guidance to the study's direction. Specific words like is there, what, and how are examples which are commonly be found in many research reports. Before writing the research question, you will need to describe why your research questions are important. Use 5 W's: why, what, when, where, who, and 1 H, how. I would suggest you to keep calm and show some patience to watch full video to get maximum benefit from this comprehensive guide. Before starting this video, I would also suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. Another important point with hypothesis is that it can provide guidelines in constructing model. In this section, the researcher needs to explain all studied variables and explain how they relate to each other. Providing a specific diagram is very useful in understanding how the variables are associated with each other. Usually a very informative framework will explain how the connection between variables exists by drawing arrows in the diagram. There are two types of definitions can be provided in this section: conceptual definitions and operational definitions. Usually, the researcher needs to provide the terms and definitions from previous studies and dictionaries. But later you must offer specific explanation regarding all terms and concepts being used by stating how different terms apply in the study operationally. Finally, at the end of this chapter, you need to provide a brief summary of the chapter. Precise and concise conclusion of the discussion is the key elements for this section. You must conclude the chapter's discussion by compressing the whole idea in a brief but with comprehensive explanation. One of the tricks for this section is that the researcher must be able to attract the attention of the reader to the next chapter. This chapter must demonstrate students' knowledge of the literature and make a critical link with the situation to be investigated. The purpose of this chapter is to review and critically analyze academic literature pertinent to the research questions. In addition, this chapter also provides material to be used in the data collection stage. To do this chapter successfully, you should ensure the reviewed literature is relevant by using the research questions as subheadings, at least in the draft stage. Demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the academic debates relevant to topic. Critically analyze key contributions, identifying their strengths and weaknesses, testing their internal consistency, and acknowledging and presenting the inevitable counterarguments. Avoid reviewing literature uncritically because this does not demonstrate understanding. Avoid discussing only one aspect of a topic in your argument. As a researcher, you must acknowledge and evaluate the negative aspects of their chosen topic. And finally, summarize the chapter and introduce the next chapter. The outline of this chapter basically depends on topic and research area and theories, models, and variables associated with it. So, I will guide you how to do this chapter carefully. But before proceeding further, I suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. To start this chapter, you should introduce the direction of the discussion by highlighting specific issues that have been identified in Chapter 1. While writing introduction section, you should Highlight main topics included in this chapter. Provide brief summary of each topic by producing a conceptual or theoretical framework of the study, preferably by a diagram. The conceptual diagram must show dependent or independent variables and their impact on each other. This diagram must be developed in the light of existing studies. These sections will explore issues and variables that have been identified based on previous studies. It is subjective to have many headings, but mostly will depend on the variables that you have identified. Instead of describing what and how, you should be able to explore and discuss every single topic related to studies so that the gap of the findings can be identified. While writing literature review chapter, you should do the following. Decide on the issues you will address. Discussion must be based on at least 3 or 4 key topics closely related to your research objectives. Synthesize the literature review prior to writing your review. Provide a critical review of the literature to underpin the study. Make a link between existing literature and your own research. Use a range of sources for the literature review: books, e-resources, articles. Make sure the literature review has enough evaluation of evidences. Cite most recent papers and avoid citing more than 10-year-old references. Include the references of similar studies with similar findings. Try to write literature review in chronological order. In this section, it is your job to highlight issues identified based on the past findings, which can be said as a license why the study conducted is important. The summary must conclude the literature review by summarizing what it says. One of the tricks for this section is that the researcher must be able to attract the attention of the reader to the next chapter. This chapter is the backbone of the research. This chapter, in fact, gives a detailed rationale of how you intend to achieve your research objectives. Supervisors are always very much concerned about this chapter and like to see what is included in it. The purpose of this chapter is to justify the research methodology chosen by the researcher. To complete this chapter successfully, you should do the following. Support and substantiate your claims throughout with reference to appropriate research methodology literature. Justify the chosen research methodology. Ensure the strategy is consistent with identified research approach, qualitative or quantitative. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the type of research approach. The possible outline of this chapter is in front of you. I will explain all these sections one by one. But before going ahead, I would suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. The introduction section of this chapter is the most critical part, as this will explain the whole process of research activities such as research philosophy, research design, research approach, research strategies or methods, research choices, and data collection and analysis methods. I suggest to organize your methodology chapter using Research Onion framework of Saunders consisting of 6 layers. The diagram in front of you shows the Research Onion. You can choose among 3 philosophical paradigms including 1. Interpretivism, 2. Positivism, or 3. Pragmatism. You can describe and justify why you have chosen particular paradigm. The arguments should be strong to justify your choice. Remember not to state the reasons why other paradigms are inappropriate for your study. Pragmatism is the mixture of interpretivism and positivism, If you have chosen pragmatism, then state the reason which research objectives will be addressed using interpretivism and positivism. You must choose one research design which is appropriate for your study. Two common research designs include exploratory design or descriptive design. In this section, you need to describe why you have chosen this particular research design. Give strong reasons. Remember, avoid describing the reasons why other research design is inappropriate. Research approach is the key section in methodology. You need to select research approach based on the nature of your study, which can be either qualitative or quantitative or both. The difference between qualitative and quantitative approaches is stated clearly in the tables in front of you. If you have any questions, you can ask in comments section. Research reasoning can be inductive or deductive. You can choose one or the combination of both as per the nature of your research. You need to describe clearly why you have chosen a particular research reasoning by providing strong justification. It is better not to state the reasons why other research approach is neglected. The following table shows possible selection of research reasoning with other selected methodological elements. This is in fact the beginning of the data collection activities. You have to decide who will be the respondents of the study. You need to be very clear about sampling method that you will be using depending on the type of the study. Random sampling and non-random sampling are two most common methods that can be found among researchers. When the researchers were looking for generalization, the random sampling will be utilized and vice versa for the qualitative. What need to be explained here is the actual processes of identifying and selecting the respondents, from determining the group of people to be studied and finally deciding who and how many to be selected to be involved in the study. Providing a table or diagram could be a very useful approach. In this section, you can critically discuss population of the study including country, industry, sample size, potential respondents, and method to approach them. You should have a clear idea what type of data collection tools you are going to use. Again, it depends on the nature of your study. For example, if your study is quantitative, you can use questionnaires as a data collection tool. On the other hand, if your study is of qualitative nature, then you can use interviews, case studies, and thematic analysis. You also need to explain and justify the use of specific software to assist them in analyzing the data, SPSS, Excel, NVivo, and alike. It is normal for the researchers to provide tables or diagrams to demonstrate how the research questions and hypotheses were addressed. The data analysis section requires you to explain the type of analysis he will use depending upon type of research strategy. Common analysis in case of quantitative study can be mean averages, frequencies and percentages, t-test, ANOVA, correlation and regression, etc. Similarly, common analysis for qualitative study can be thematic analysis, observations, and case study analysis. The researcher needs to explain the whole process of developing the instruments in great detail using as it is or adapting from other previous instruments, modifying, translating or developing self-developed instruments. Several issues like validity and reliability for quantitative instruments and trustworthiness might be of important activities in developing the instruments. Pilot studies are conducted to evaluate the feasibility of some crucial components of the full-scale study. Typically, these can be divided into three main aspects. The first aspect is process, where the feasibility of the key steps in the main study is assessed. For example, recruitment rate, retention levels, and eligibility criteria. The second aspect is resources, where we assess problems with time and resources that may occur during the main study. For example, how much time the main study will take to be completed, whether use of some equipment will be feasible, or whether the forms of evaluation selected for the main study are as good as possible. The purpose of this chapter is to justify the research methodology chosen by the researcher. To complete this chapter successfully, you should do the following. Support and substantiate your claims throughout with reference to appropriate research methodology literature. Justify the chosen research methodology. One of the most important issues in conducting a study is the ethical considerations. You need to provide what are the specific considerations have been followed in ensuring all related issues like citation, plagiarism, respect of the respondent's rights, anonymity, etc. It is equally important for the researcher to explain why and how the ethical issues have been taken care of during the research. If there is a specific issue like sensitivity, it is imperative for the researchers to show how this has been dealt with, without affecting the research processes and also the respondent's rights. In this section, you have to make concluding remarks about the whole processes of conducting data collection and analysis in order to justify why they were important to the study. The table and a diagram in front of you provide advice for the adoption of methodology. The purpose of this chapter is to present the data and analyze the findings in relation to the literature reviewed in Chapter 2. Also, in this chapter, you will elaborate the analysis based on the research questions and research hypothesis. All necessary information about the analysis must be presented precisely and clearly. To be more informative in every research questions addressed, the researcher should provide brief summary of the analysis. The analysis must be concluded by providing the whole summary of the analysis, again based on the research questions. Some key instructions for this chapter are below. You should present the data in a clear and coherent manner using tables and graphs. You must critically discuss the findings in relation to the literature in Chapter 2 by identifying areas of agreement and disagreement, and give some thought as to why the results you obtained are similar or different. You should ensure relevance by using the research questions as subheadings, at least in the draft stage. Finally, summarize the chapter and introduce the next chapter. The possible outline of this chapter is in front of you. I will explain all these sections one by one. But before going ahead, I would suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. In the introduction section of this chapter, you need to introduce the chapter by explaining the idea and giving justification of how you will address the research questions and hypothesis. First, you need to briefly describe acquired data, preferably in a tabular form. Then analyze data and present results by following the order of questions asked during interview or questionnaire. Make sure you have used a variety of charts such as pie chart, bar chart, and other charts and graphs to analyze and interpret the data. Ensure the data being accurately presented and analyzed or are the findings are clearly highlighted. Make statements of the results without any implication, speculation, assessment, evaluation, or interpretation. Avoid reaching any conclusion in this chapter. Just analyze and interpret your findings. In a qualitative study, the results section will include quotes from participants who were interviewed. Most of the time, the results and discussion are combined into one chapter, but your supervisor may ask you to do discussion in a separate chapter. In this section or chapter, you will critically discuss the findings in relation to the literature in Chapter 2 by identifying areas of agreement and disagreement, and give some thoughts critically. You may link or apply theories in your discussion by giving reference from literature. You may also discuss any unexpected findings. In writing discussion section, discuss various findings but be concise, brief, and specific. Before going ahead, I would suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. Here is the possible outline of this chapter. But it is important for the researcher to produce tables for the summary of the analysis to provide brief explanation of the table to highlight the major findings from the analysis. The discussion must end by providing the conclusion, which is based on the major findings that the study have generated. This can be a pre-introduction to the next chapter, which is more comprehensive and conclusive. This is the most critical chapter where you must acknowledge previous studies by placing your findings into context. But it is very important to include only past studies that have been cited and discussed in chapters 1, 2 and 3. It is common to see that the researcher begins the discussion by presenting the summary of the findings. It is your core job to make comparison or relate findings with previous studies. It is not simply a task to claim the findings as contradicted or aligned with previous studies, but to justify in what way the findings are aligned or contradict. Based only on the findings, you should offer recommendations, implications, and suggestions for the study before ending the discussion by concluding remark. The possible outline of this chapter is in front of you. I will explain all these sections one by one. But before going ahead, I would suggest you to subscribe this channel for more informative, knowledgeable, and useful content. Normally, as a researcher, you must be able to introduce the structure of the chapter in brief and concise way. Brief explanation for each of the headings is also necessary. This is to justify and offer the purpose of each of the headings to the research as a whole. Your conclusion must be based on each research objective that was achieved during the research. To do this, you must critically summarize your content by recalling your aims and objectives. Also, critically summarize your research findings and relate it to any case study or literature. Be very careful in introducing any new content while concluding your study. Finally, ask the following questions to yourself. Is your conclusion reasoned and sensible? Does your conclusion address research questions and objectives? Have you presented your conclusion in a well manner which is necessary and provided a professional look? Based on the findings only, you may offer recommendations for betterment, improvement, modifications, and future researches. Do not offer recommendations which are away from the context of the study. This is too ambitious to try to offer something not being studied. In this section, you may discuss limitations of your research by considering time for data acquisition, human-related limitations, technology-related limitations, software-related limitations, or any other limitations associated with your particular research. This section will allow you to write some closing remarks about the studies, but of course within your research framework and capacities. You should be able to conclude your study by offering overall conclusion, especially in addressing the title of the study. The researcher must list down every single reference being cited in the text. Normally, there are two common formats for writing references, including APA, American Psychological Association, and Harvard. Also, one of the most efficient and effective way of doing literature citation is EndNotes. This software permits the researcher to retrieve the list of references being used in the text automatically, and by providing simple instruction, the software will listing the references based on specific needs of the researcher. In appendices, you may include list of documents such as reports, data analysis, tables, or other related artifacts that have been referred or cited in the discussion of the report. Normally, the non-referred materials in the discussion will not be provided in the appendices. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe this channel and like this video for more informative and useful content. If you want to order a PDF copy of my book titled A Comprehensive Dissertation Guide, please contact me on my email listed in front of you.